Tarot friends, this is Ultraviolet Morgan, and I just want to look at the Fountain spread from the Fountain Tarot deck. I did this reading a couple of days ago, and, I don't think I took any notes on it. You think you're going to remember things, and you don't. And as I was doing it, I thought about how to really do a really in-depth reading. I was going to say how to best do a reading, but I scratched that because it's one way to do a really in-depth, layered reading. Because, what's best can be different for the situation, the reader, the cards, all kinds of things. And I wanted to try out the Fountain spread that's found in the book for the Fountain Tarot. And I know that I did have a question, and I think that it had to do with social, like meeting people. But I'm not entirely sure now. Sorry, guys. Maybe it'll all come to me when I go through the reading again. And so I started out by shuffling the cards, asking the question, and then, dealing the cards out. And sort of midway through, it came to me that I thought what I should have done, I don't know why, but I thought, I should have written down my question and then just meditated on my question a little for a few minutes, 5 maybe, 3 even. Sort of open myself up to see if to possibly channel any messages, write down any messages that were channeled. This would be a good reason to maybe lay out the cards this way. I usually lay them out face up. And you could channel before you shuffle. You could channel while you shuffle. Or if you don't channel, like I said, you could just meditate and see what thoughts come to you. However you want to look at that. And so then the next step being flipping over the cards without knowing much about. I was learning the spread, and I'm still kind of learning these cards, even though I know tarot, and even though I read intuitively, and I read these cards so well intuitively. But the interpretations in the book are very interesting to me as well. So, anyway, I guess I lost my train of thought. So what I did was I laid them out as face up, not face down, as I read them, and just let my thoughts come to me without really without any reference to the placement in the spread. Just plain old Nine of Cups, wishes, getting your wishes fulfilled, getting what you want. That's always nice to see. I did look, just at the layout, at the order of the layout, so I could turn them over in that order. So, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then we've got we're climbing up a hill, Knight of Swords, so charging forward with purpose, with clarity of thought, hopefully, with a message and a purpose, we'll say. And, you don't want to spend too much time on this, just enough, just to see what your initial kind of thoughts are. So then, King of Coins. So the King of Coins to me brings to mind an entrepreneur, someone who is at the, top of their game financially, someone who's a business owner or a CEO. This card actually, I do not know what the guy looks like, but when I saw this card, I first thought of Warren Buffett. I don't even think that looks like him at all. I'm not sure what he looks like, but I don't think it's that. But, so, an investor, a businessman, a CEO, an entrepreneur, somebody very financially savvy and at the top of his game. So, and then we turn this over and we're climbing another hill. We're climbing a hill this way and we're climbing a hill this way. Now I have the 9 of Wands. So this is the Knight of Swords. This is the 9 of Wands. So 9 of Wands is generally where he's at the top of the hill and he's kind of fighting off the people who are coming at him with their wands, but he has the high ground and we don't see them, we just see the wands. He looks like he's, not going to be having a terribly hard time fighting them off, but he's at the top, people want what he has, and they're coming after him and he's kind of pushing them away. Which goes pretty well with the 9 of Cups and having your wishes fulfilled. So then there's the middle card. Nurturing. Oh, man. So I do think that it had to do with how can I meet some new people. And so right away I thought, okay, look at this 7 of Coins. You have to nurture your friendships. You have to care for them. You have to take care of them. You have to be mindful and pay attention to, what you pay attention to grows. What you focus on grows. Those kinds of messages. So, those were my initial thoughts on the cards. And then, if you look at the spread, so that's step 1 would be meditating or channeling, taking notes on any messages you get there, which I skipped. And step 2 would be looking at the cards, not thinking about, even if you do know the meanings, just what comes in your head from looking at the cards. And then step 3 is looking at the card position. So the card position number 1, from the fountain spread, the question, what is really being asked, clarifies the question and focuses the inquiry more specifically. So what's really being asked is, how can I get what I want? How can I fill my bowls? And 9 of Cups, so that's emotional. How can I fulfill myself emotionally? How can I get those needs met? So that mix, obviously, is exactly what was being asked. Clarified pretty succinctly. The context, what has led up to now, reveals the factors in your past play the most significant role in getting where you are now. So, the significant factors in my past in getting to the place where I am now, where I basically have to start over as far as my real life social network goes, probably from charging in with my thoughts and my words and my ideals. I suppose a lot of my friends didn't share my ideals, didn't appreciate my ideals, and we weren't in touch much because of some other lifestyle changes that, we all kind of moved in different directions. But there were things that were said that kind of led to this new place. This new place is saying, okay, I need to find some new people now. So there's that. And then the next placement is you. Your role in the situation highlights what personal qualities or actions are needed in the current situation. So what's needed? Okay, money. I need money. I need money so I can do some things. So I can go places and meet people. Um, planning, financial planning. Like I need to make the plan. I need to set aside the money for the activity. King, I need to take charge, take control. No one else obviously is going to do that for me, so some basic thoughts on the king in that position. And then your community. Who else plays a role? Identify who in your community is needed or will play a part in the current situation. It's the community. Okay. So I suppose I would get from that there may be some opposition or some I'm not getting a sense that I'm going to get a lot of cooperation, I suppose, as far as that card in that position. I don't know. I wish I had done this sooner, but I just was not able to. And then the potential outcome, the culmination announces the result or action needed to answer the question. And we have the 7 of coins. So the culmination, the result, and the advice, is really that things need to be nurtured. Now, on the other hand, I'm going to go back to this one. On the other hand, he is walking right up the things that are trying to come at him. So he's able to use the opposition as a factor to climb, to reach his height, to reach his level that he's going for. So kind of ability to make something good out of something bad. Okay, and then back to the 7 of coins with the nurturing and the caretaking and the attending to. So then the next step, after thinking of the cards in their position, after all that, after just the messages that are coming through at the top of your head that are like just coming to you, and taking some notes on that so you don't forget what they were. Then finally, and this could be an optional step, but I think it's a good idea sometimes for a while, to go and look at the book meanings and see what other new things can come from the book meaning. Now, if the book meaning is completely different and contains no new useful information that feels like it pertains to your situation, to your question, to your reading, seriously feel free to just scrap it. The book, I like to say cards don't have meanings. They have possible interpretations. The book gives you some interpretations based on the artist and the author's idea for this deck. But, sometimes the card interpretations in the book are spot on, and other times they're not what you need. What you immediately knew when you turn that card over is sometimes just what you need. So now I'm just going to go through and look and see what it says in the book. So let's find the Nine of Cups. I should have set these up just to make it go faster and easier. But the Nine of Cups, shared happiness. So what am I really asking for? I'm really asking for shared happiness. That makes a whole lot of sense. A man sits with 9 cups, inviting in anyone who wishes to share his joy and contentment. Often known as the wish card, the 9 of cups is a moment of emotional fulfillment and satisfaction, a powerful card of giving and receiving. As he reflects back on the events and choices that brought him here, he gives thanks. As the phrase goes, joy shared is happiness returned. You've been blessed, and now is the time to welcome others to the table for an abundant feast. So there's a little bit of, it's confirmation, but it's also additional message of inviting others to share your blessings, which is A, what the questioner wants, and B, the questioner being me, and B, a little bit of sort of advice. Like, okay, if you want to share your blessings, then share your blessings, right? Meaning contentment, emotional satisfaction, success, wish fulfilled, pervasive wellness, good karma. Reversal? Reversals can be important even when you don't get a reversal, especially if it's an advice card, because advice, which this isn't, this is what you want, but it does contain a little glimmer of advice. But if the advice card were 9 of Cups, upright, 9 of Cups reverse would be, okay, upright, do this, reverse, don't do this, which is also is good of advice. And it may seem like it's the opposite, and sometimes it is, but sometimes stating something in the opposite way gives a whole new shade of meaning to it. So, sorry about that ramble, but reversal for that would be snobbishness. So don't be a snob. Don't exclude people that could be your friend because you think, I don't know, they're not good enough in some way. Selfishness, obviously, right? Superficiality, right? And corruptness. Okay, I won't be corrupt. That one could have meaning, but I'm not sure for like this reading what the meaning would be. So, and then Knight of Swords in the position, you have to review. The position is the context, what led up to now, the factors that played the most significant role, getting you where you are now. So I go to the Knight of Swords, and I feel like what I read is confirmation and additional information. So, Knight of Swords. One thing people like to do is look at their cards, say what they think, then look in the book and see if they were right. Okay, it's not about checking to see if you're right. You're right. They're your cards. You're the reader. There's not a right and wrong interpretation. There's just your interpretation. Your interpretation is not wrong. If you're doing a reading, I read intuitively to a great extent. So, if I'm doing a reading and I pull the Knight of Swords and I read it and I look at it wrong and I read it like it's the Knight of Wands, or I read it and say, it just totally off, whatever it means, and I say blah, 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 it's probably most likely, in my opinion, the message that was meant for that reading, even if it ends up having nothing to actually do with the card. And I think, personally, it's more important to do a reading that's accurate to the reading and to the questioner and to their life and to what they're asking and to what's happening than to do do a reading that's accurate to to someone else's preset meanings for these cards, because all they are is someone's idea of what the cards mean, and your idea is what matters because you're the reader. So, Knight of Swords, intellectual agility. If the knights are heroic, restless, and fancy themselves invincible, the Knight of Swords is all these things, amplified. Represents the adolescent spirit. His intentions are pure and passionate, and my friends are not interested in were not interested in the things I was passionate about. The more I talked about them, the less interested they were in me. And I mean, I had some new people and new things coming in that really lit me up in some ways that let me be more of myself than I had ever been able to be before. And a lot of my older friends weren't open to that. His intentions are pure and passionate, but they can also be impulsive, quick-tempered, and at times careless. And I can admit that that was also some of the things that I was. He loves a good mental challenge, yes, but he doesn't like wasting time. If an idea is practical, thoughtful, and well-planned, he will navigate the most tangled of obstacles to assist achieving creative and rapid, but perhaps risky success. Meaning, bold solutions, analytic agility, rapid change, tenacious idealism, hasty action, cunning. So for me, yes, I was idealistic, I was hasty, I said what I thought, I didn't think about any consequences, I didn't care about any consequences, I suppose. I let the chips fall where they may. Reversals, apathy, self-righteousness, thoughtfulness, arrogance, unreliable behavior, extravagance, and trivia. That wasn't in any way an advice card, I don't feel, so the reversals didn't have a lot to say. Excuse me. I wish I had an editing program. So, me in this is this King of Coins, which is the last way I'd ever think of myself as a King of Coins. But in this reading, I came up as the King of Coins. So I'm going to switch hands here, because my hand was getting a little cramped the way that I was doing it. So the King of Coins. This is me in the situation. King of Coins, ordered stability, traditional values, practicality, and hard work have kept the King of Coins grounded and successful, giving him material wealth and respect for the rhythms of life's ups and downs. The King hates risks and cares little for innovation or about what's popular. Instead, order and common sense rule the day. To those around him, his stubbornness is both a blessing and a curse. Whatever he puts his mind to will grow and flourish. So, a lot of that description, personality, wise, doesn't fit. But what fits is, let me see, question is, your role in the situation. Highlight what personal qualities or actions are needed in the current situation. What he puts his mind to will grow and flourish. So basically, very similar to the Seven of Coins message that I came up with when I looked at it was, what you focus on is what will grow. And his stubbornness is both a blessing and a curse. That part's true. So the stubbornness and the ability to create something by through the focus on it and through the ambition for it. Meaning tradition over innovation, self-reliance. Self-reliance is definitely in there. Practicality and caution, material and spiritual wealth, stubborn but dependable, skillful at business, a father figure. So for me, the main meaning of this, I think, would be self-reliance. Didn't I say earlier, no one's going to do this but me? No, maybe that's what I said on this card. Yeah, well, no one's going to do it but me. Because it's me, and I do have to depend on myself if I want to create a social circle, then I have to be the one to do it. It's not going to fall into my lap. It's not just going to appear. So there's that. And then the community 4, who else plays a role, identifies who your community is. Oh, let's go over here. Who in your community is needed or will play a part in the current situation. So, okay, so that's a little extra shade of meaning for the 9 of Wands when I read what the book says about the 9 of Wands. And it's another thing, like with the King of Coins, I read what the book said. Some of it pertained and some of it didn't. You have to take what you need and leave the rest. Now I'm reading for myself, so I just know for myself what fits and what doesn't. If I'm reading for someone else, I have to think what feels like it fits and what feels like it doesn't. So it's a little different in that way. But, as you do it, you'll get the hang of it. Things will feel right. Things will feel right and things will feel wrong. Things will go and they won't. And then, when you start out, you can ask for some feedback. Does this part of this seem right? Does this part? But learn to trust yourself is the most important thing. So, 9 of Wands, the final push. Huh? Right. Yes, I knew that. I don't know why it wasn't coming to me. Nearly exhausted and a little doubtful that he will ever reach the top, a man exerts a final push in the hopes of completing what he started. With the 9 of Wands, success is certain and unstoppable energy has been released. Accomplished achievers know this feeling well. Each new challenge brings wisdom, but it also exacts a toll. You are stronger for your efforts, and now is the time to savor your achievement. Replenish your energy and consider what you have learned. New challenges lie ahead, and your attention must stay keen. Hitting the target, persevering against the odds, extreme exertion rewarded by relaxation, a last-minute surge of reflection. Reversals would be impending setbacks, obstacles, adversity, and wasted energy. So, what was this? This was the community. So, I guess the meaning for that would be getting that final push, either from people who do support you or don't support you. Either way, it's just that continuing. It's kind of like basically someone, maybe not even in a physical, like someone might not show up and say, hey, let me help you here, but maybe just the idea of someone can spur you on. Hope that kind of makes some sense. And then the final card, which was the potential outcome and the result or action needed, which 7 of Coins. So, patient resolve. With dirty hands and rolled up sleeves, the farmer assesses his creation. He recalls the process that brought those seeds to maturity in time, money, and effort it took to bring them to full growth. Your work may be nearly complete, and you desperately crave the reward, but you must still acknowledge the work done well takes time and often has its own schedule. Something in your heart tells you that your fruits have not yet fully ripened. Be patient and keep working. Your wait is almost over. Meaning patient dedication, stewardship, assessment, thoughtful planning, a committed reward, creativity, security. So, it's kind of a promise that, yes, it will happen. Yes, it will come to fruition. Keep at it. Keep paying attention. Keep working towards it. Keep being open like the cups, and loving. And so basically, that was my first try doing the fountain reading, and that was a little bit of a lesson of shared information of how you might do a reading or some things that you might consider or use. And of course, these are just suggestions. Everybody reads the way they read. Everyone has differences, and everyone learns from each other. So take what feels right to you and apply it. and no need to ask permission because I put it out there, go ahead. And things that don't set right with you or things that don't feel good to you, don't do them. When I first started reading, or even when I first started reading again, when I very first started, I was just learning the cards and reading the best I could. And then I put them down for a while, and then I thought, I started thinking more about my intuition and wanted to use them as a tool to access my intuition, and really things started clicking more then when that happened. Clicking a lot more for me then. But when I started, even though I was using it to access my intuition, I didn't meditate. I didn't light candles. I didn't do anything special, and I don't think you have to. I put the cards out and I interpreted them. It was like quick and dirty tarot reading from ultraviolet, and when I heard people talk about spirit guides or messages from spirit guides or spirit is telling me and all this stuff, I just kind of rolled my eyes. It just wasn't for me at that time. But I've kind of gotten drawn into that. I've gotten more of a sense of that I can utilize those things, that I am interested in utilizing those things, and maybe whereas before I kind of scoffed at the idea, now I think I don't so much anymore. So, it doesn't, you can evolve, you can find that an idea doesn't appeal to you, and later on maybe it will. So there's my tarot ramble for today, because I wanted to show you like how I did this spread and how I just felt like I was learning things through on my own, like as I did it, that I just wanted to share. And I'm probably not going to do that like every time I do a reading either, but I have that kind of in me now as a potential way to get a really full meaning. So anyway, I ramble one thing, and then I don't know if I finished it, ramble another thing. So there you have it. My learning that spread and what I learned from and while doing that spread. And so, until the next video, I hope that you'll like and subscribe and comment and tell me what you liked about this video and tell me what you didn't like about this video. Tell me what you want to see next. I do have some cards to open, so I'm going to do some unboxings. And I do have some 31 Days of Tarot tags from Ethany's challenge. I think I've gotten up to 4 or 5, so I do have some more of those videos to do. So there's things coming, and as soon as I can get them out. But if you have ideas of things you want to hear, and I'm open to kind of all kinds of ideas, and I started this channel because I wanted to join the community of YouTube online tarot and spiritual, witchy tarot readers, witches, pagans, etc. So, yeah. All right. Until next time, guys, just like, share, subscribe, comment. This is Ultraviolet Morgan saying, blessed be, tarot friends.